Hey guys, it's EJ with Blockpad, and today we're going to take a look at getting around the software as if you've opened it for the first time. So let's say you started your free trial, you downloaded the software, you've installed it, you open it up, and this is what you see. So we're going to click Login and link Blockpad account, which is going to link my desktop app to the account that I'm logged into in my web browser. So I've opened it up in the web browser. It says we're successfully linked. So let's go back. So go back to Blockpad. It's going to work for a second. And then we're going to get to a blank tab. So if you're just starting, I suggest just clicking New Document. And this is going to open a new Blockpad file with a report frame. So this is basically a word processor that can do math. Let's go back. So the math looks like this. We'll press an equal sign. A equals 5m for meter, equal sign. B equals 4 feet, equals, and then C equals the square root of A squared plus, and you can also click to reference here, B squared. And that's going to show our formula in math notation, calculate it for us, and do any unit computations that need to handle. We've got a lot of documentation for how to do all of this math on our support page, so I'm not going to really dive into that here. So to get around the program, over here, this is where the top level frames are. And so these are like sheets in a spreadsheet. So we can have a spreadsheet, we can add more reports, we can also add a notebook. So a spreadsheet is basically like a regular spreadsheet, except that because it's in Blockpad, it can handle units. So for example, I can say 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, and then I can click and drag that down. It's going to continue it for me. I can press the equal sign, reference that cell, do some math with it. It'll handle the units, and then I can drag that down, and we can spread it out so that we can see it. And then a notebook's kind of similar to the word processor. So I can press the equal sign and say force equals, let's say 30 kilonewtons. And then I press the equal sign again, area equals 5 centimeters squared. And then can press the equal sign again, pressure equals force divided by area to, let's say MPa. And I'll get my answer. You can also just start typing and it'll open up a text box like this. And then in a notebook, you can just drag these around kind of however you want, and they will, that's how it works. So going back to our report, up here, this is the toolbar, and this is going to have all the different tools that you're going to need to use. So insert table, manage styles, or for example, I can put in a header and footer, change it to custom, click OK. That'll put that header and footer in there for me. Can also do stuff like insert a table, which works like a mini spreadsheet inside of the word processor. So that's the toolbar. It's going to change depending on what frame you're in. So in a spreadsheet, you're going to see more options to example, remove rows, have borders, spreadsheet type stuff. Similarly, in a notebook, you can draw arrows, and that stuff's going to be in the toolbar. Going back to our report again, an important part of Blockpad is the properties window. So if you come over here and click properties, that'll open up your properties window. And so if you select an object, it's going to show you all the different properties that you can come in and change for that item. So for an equation, for example, we can choose to show the steps. It'll show us the reference values. And you can choose to hide the formula. We've also got formatting options. So for example, we can add a border. Click apply and preview, click OK. We can add padding. um, and all that kind of stuff for that equation. Coming over to a spreadsheet, you're going to get different options for these spreadsheet cells than you would for an equation. Some of them are going to be the same though. So like math layout, we can turn on with reduced size superscripts, and that's going to change our cells like that. And then the notebook, it's the same thing. You're going to see different options, like for the arrow will have different properties. So that's really it for getting around a file. You've got your top level frames, the toolbar, and the properties window. That'll do most of what you need to do. In terms of managing multiple files, Blockpad handles it using a tab. So we can click this plus sign here to open a new tab. From here, we can open new files. So for example, I can click new spreadsheet, which is just a regular Blockpad file, by the way. You can still have reports and notebooks in here. It's just that a spreadsheet is the opening frame. You can also go to recent files like this spherical plane bearing calc or this AISC calc. Going back to the blank tab, we also have some links to some good resources like the deep dive guide or our support page if you're kind of getting started learning about the program. And we also have some sample files that you can go through and click on these, and they'll open up for you in the file. So one or two more things over here in the Blockpad icon, you can click on your account, and that's going to show you your licensing situation and the account you're logged into. And you can also click settings, and that is going to give you some basic program options like changing the theme, can change the font size in the program itself, some stuff like that. And that's all I have for today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and thank you.